Good afternoon, members of the media. Called this press conference this afternoon to update you on the Reefs situation, as well as to have just a brief, discussion or give the media some information in relationship to the unemployment that continues to, plague Bermuda. Firstly, let me say it's been about a month now, probably 5 weeks, since the Reefs maintenance staff was dismissed, which means that 3 of them were made redundant. We have been in meetings with the current Minister Minus of Economy, Trade and Industry, and I can tell you that as of last week, the decision is that the 3 workers are going to remain redundant, and that means that 3 more Bermudians are out of work. Now, let me say that it's extremely concerning to BIU that the management team has told the minister that the particular category in question, which is the maintenance handyman or general maintenance person, is no longer required at the Reef, so the position has been made redundant. Let me just say this to the employers, and you have to be very careful when you make a position redundant, because once the position is made redundant, it can't be filled by anyone else. If you make a person redundant, then somebody else can go back and do that particular job. The Reefs have told the minister that the position has been made redundant. We are very concerned that, as we said before, there are 3 Bermudians that are capable of doing that job. One in particular who has a very high skill set has been at the, as we said before, at Mr. Double Jr.'s house doing tiling and a number of other things, so he has quite a bit of skills. So sad day in the respect labor relations where we have, a general maintenance position that can't be filled by Bermudian, and that has to be very concerning for the country. It's still very concerning for the union, so much so that we've asked our workers to pay attention, because it doesn't take much skill to change a light bulb or to do general maintenance work at any particular hotel property. So not very pleased with the outcome of this situation, that the situation couldn't have been, and I will say a 2-to-1, meaning maybe 2 migrant workers, 2 Bermudians would have lost their job, and maybe one work permit would have been withheld by the minister. So, as I said, not pleased with that situation. And I think this leads on to my next discussion as relates to how Bermudians have fared, and as relates to the economic climate, particularly when we look at the labor market indicators that was released just recently. Probably, if you all don't have a copy of it, I got a copy put on my desk on Friday, and those numbers are very concerning, and very concerning that the Bermuda industry continues to be extremely concerned about the unemployment of Bermudians, so much so that we've had the situation at the Reefs, and then we have the numbers that were released particularly for 2007, 2008, 2009, and 2010, where we see, of course, Bermudians in the workplace in 2007, there was 27,272 Bermudians. Yet in 2010, the numbers now are down to 26,246. Don't know what the numbers will look like for 2011. Remember, these are 2010 numbers, so we still have the 2011 numbers that have to be reported. But what I would say to you is that from 2008, 2009, and 2010, we've seen a reduction in the Bermudan workforce for total jobs, 92 in 2008, 391 in 2009, and 542 in 2010. An overall reduction of about 3.75% of workers, Bermudan workers in the workforce. The reason why I'm making these numbers known to the media, because what has happened over this period of time is that the number of Bermudan spouses and also the permanent residents have not suffered the same fate as the Bermudian worker. The reason I say that to you is because when we look at the number of Bermudian spouses, they have increased by 14 workers in 2008, and as I tell you, Bermudian workers declined by 92 in that year. In 2009, they increased by 36. Bermudian workers declined by 391. And in 2010, of course, they have a slight decline of 13. Not a big decline, but still a decline. But when we look at the overall percentage for them over this period of time, they've actually grown by 1.9%, where the median workforce has shrunken by 3.75%. Now, one other category I want to mention is the permanent residents, and this group has not been affected much by the recession, in that in 2008, they actually increased by 110 workers, or about 18.35%. In 2009, they increased by 97 workers, or roughly about 13.65%. In 2010, they declined by 1 worker, just 1. So as you can see, the overall increase over this period of time is 31.88%. So where you have the Bermudian worker declining by 3.75%, we have the permanent residents actually faring extremely well over that same period of time. Now, to be fair, we also have the labor market indicators as relates to all the other number of units that are in the workforce. And in 2007, we had 10,037 of those workers. In 2009, it went up to 10,367. So it did go up a bit by 330 workers, or roughly about 3.25%. However, in 2009, 2010, we have a decline in that area. Particularly in 2009, we had a decline of 435 workers, or about 4.1%. And in 2010, they declined by 867. And that was a pretty big percentage increase, which was a decline of about 8.7%. So the overall increase over that, or decrease in that particular sector over the period of time has been 9.55%. So it's very concerning right now when we have situations like the Reefs, and we have these numbers right here, where Bermudians are saying that, whether it's a plumber, whether it's a skilled plumber, a skilled laborer, or a skilled mason, or a general handyman, that Bermudian can fill these particular positions. And as we've said, and we'll continue to say, that, and we're going to pass this information on to the minister, because I think it's something that, the numbers really need to be broken down as to what is happening to the Bermudian workforce, and how, other sectors, and I said it to you, we have the non-Bermudian spouses and the permanent residents faring well better than Bermudians in this current economic climate, and that should not be happening. Questions?
Is there anything else that BIU can do in the Reef situation? Have you got any plans to do anything else to help us through workers?
Well, just know that, we have the clause in the agreement book where, calls for redundancies, it calls for layoffs, right? My understanding from the staff up there is that, they've been having these department meetings, and they've been told by management that none of the maintenance staff is going to be laid off over the closure, because we did say to you, and I think the Reefs management said that the hotel is going to close from, I think, around July 2nd until March 13th. And over that period of time, while all the other staff, because remember now, the hotel side is going to close, but the club side is going to remain open. So whilst all the staff, that work at the Reefs, particularly on the hotel side, are going to be subject to layoff over this probably 10-week period, the maintenance staff are going to work right through this whole 10-week period, so they're not even going to be subject to any layoff. So it's very concerning that we could have basically, and our suggestion was that we understand that from the employer's point of view, that the department was overstaffed, because they had said that the budget for the department was 8, and they overstaffed it by 11. So we understand the need for them to bring it back down to 8. But we said to them, why did it have to be the hill to be 3 Bermudas that had to be made redundant, and you couldn't just make maybe 2 Bermudas redundant, and maybe one of the work permits for one of the guest workers maybe shouldn't have been renewed.